Hello and welcome to the Poverty Franchise Podcast. It's PJ.
Caprice. I did not know that was the name of the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's the Poverty Franchise Podcast.
Got a logo and everything.
I'm fans of poverty franchises. I'm fans of the Poverty MLB franchise. One of the Poverty NFL franchise, not the Poverty NFL franchise. The Bulls are the opposite of a poverty franchise, but we're gonna ignore that. Same with the Blackhawks. I really got the name from the White Sox.
Yeah, man.
And I'm a Man City fan, which is the antithesis to poverty.
It's a different league, a different country. We'll take it.
Different country, owned by different individuals. We should say individuals who can have us killed. So we'll not trash talk them.
Poverty Franchise Podcast, like it.
All right, going over the NFL Roundup for Week 16. Quickly go over the scores, and starting with the Thursday night game. The Jags beat the Jets in the slugfest, 19-3.
Shout out T-Law.
Shout out T-Law as always. As we are Clemson graduates, of course. Zach Wilson has officially probably played his last game with the New York Jets. Will get traded in the offseason most likely.
He sold himself down the river.
That's true. And
many weeks coming.
And New York Jets. Thank you for not drafting Justin Fields. That's it.
Indeed.
The Panthers just dog walked the Lions 37-23. The Lions' playoff hopes have not been dashed, but the Panthers rushed for over 300 yards. This harkened back to beginning of the year Lions that had good offense but negatory defense. But they let Deontay Foreman run for 165 yards when your playoff hopes are on the line. And the Panthers are actually still in the playoff hunt. We'll go over that a bit later.
Really?
Yes.
I thought they were like the worst team of this year.
Oh, no. That's the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears.
Oh.
Speaking of the Chicago Bears, they lose a frigid matchup to the Buffalo Bills as expected, but Justin Fields played all right.
Hey, and Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen.
Of course. The Saints beat the Browns, eliminating the Browns from playoff contention as the redacted individual did not play good as expected because he's rusty.
Yeah, he hasn't been to the chiropractor.
Or the masseuse.
Yeah.
Acupuncture.
Something.
Chiefs beat the Seahawks 24-10, making a big dent in the Seahawks playoff
Oh my
plans.
God! And they were out there shirtless.
Shirtless before the game in the cold, acting tough. DK Metcalf's idea, we know it was.
Yeah.
It did not go well. Vikings beat the Giants on the last minute 61-yard field goal to lay a claim for that number one seed in the NFC. The Giants' playoff hopes are still alive because the Commanders did lose this week as well. Bengals beat the Patriots because Ramondre Stevenson made yet another last possession mistake. He fumbled the ball. Last week it was lateraling the ball. He didn't make the mistake last week. That was Jacoby Myers who made the error, the backwards lateral to Chandler Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson fumbled in clutch time.
It's Chandler Jones, too. You got to expect that.
Menace activities.
Yeah.
The Titans' season of horrors, they dropped. This is their fifth straight. Malik Willis is just not really ready to run this team. Houston Texans beat them. They lose to the worst team in football. Houston Texans still hold the claim for the number one overall pick, by the way. And they lost that game.
Who would that be? Or who could it be?
Who could that be? I haven't really discussed. It's probably going to be, for the Texans, probably going to be Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud.
Okay.
If I'm willing to wager. They're not going to pick a defensive lineman. They need a quarterback. Davis Mills. I like Davis Mills. He a backup. I think he a backup. I like him. He a backup. Ravens beat the Falcons 17-9. I believe this was Lamar's first game back from injury after they played Lamar Jackson at home. Nope, Tyler Huntley's still playing. I didn't watch the Ravens-Falcons game. You can tell because I'm not watching Ravens football with Tyler Huntley because he's literally Lamar Jackson. If you let a 5-year-old describe to you what Lamar Jackson is and then let him play as Lamar Jackson.
It's Tyler Huntley.
That's Tyler Huntley. 49ers trounced the Commanders 37-20. Brock Purdy continues his hot run. The run game is still amazing. Deebo Samuel's isn't even back yet. They're a good football team. They're doing good football team things. Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles without Jalen Hurts 40-34. Gardner Minshew did have a good game.
There was some late drama in that one.
He'll probably... I think Gardner Minshew will be a starter somewhere in the league. Because there's going to be some movement next year for quarterbacks. I mean, the Jets are going to be without a quarterback. Is Mike White the long-term answer? Probably not. Probably bringing some competition. The Panthers are going to be looking for a quarterback. I think the Saints are going to be looking for a quarterback.
They've gone through so many quarterbacks this year, too.
Oh,
Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, they're on, like... Yeah, they started a lot of dudes. I mean, Darnold, P.J. Walker, Mayfield. Ooh, shit. I think that's all three. Missing one? Probably missing one. Who the hell is the quarterback for... I know I'm missing one. I'll just accept that whoever
For
that
Carolina?
is just not worth my consideration.
Let's see.
The Steelers beat the Raiders 13-10 on the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. Once again, rest in peace, Franco Harris. Packers beat the Dolphins 26-20. Tua Tagovailoa gets his third concussion of the year.
Third concussion.
He should probably be sit down. We'll discuss that later as well. The Rams just embarrassed the Broncos on Christmas Day. Just 51-14. Nathaniel Hackett
is
gone. Gone. The hack. Not Hackett.
Thank the Lord. Russell Wilson.
The hack was a hack. Is Russell Wilson free? Was it his fault? We don't know. We won't know until Sean Payton comes and coaches next year.
Of course.
Sean Payton, that's his job. If it goes to anyone else, y'all fuck Denver.
Yeah. Russell Wilson probably drove the nigga to the airport.
Buccaneers beat the Cardinals 19-16. The next guy should be fired this year, Cliff Kingsbury, who still hasn't been fired yet. The Buccaneers still look like a god-awful football team, but hey. They lead their division.
What's their record?
Their record is 7-8. And they're going to have a home playoff game.
Kind of crazy. It's a pillow fight.
And the Chargers beat the ailing Colts 20-3. Jeff Saturday is a placeholder.
Does he even count? The Colts? Come on.
Do they count?
Like a win against them. You brag about that?
No, you don't. But you win. It goes on the record. All the same. Looking at the standings, right now the playoff picture is starting to take a better shape. Buffalo and Kansas City are fighting for the supremacy of the AFC to get that first week bye. The Bengals and Ravens can still both do it if the Chiefs and Bills both drop their next two games. For the Ravens' case, the Bengals only need both to drop one game. All those teams are locks. They've clinched. The real interesting part comes in the AFC South. The Jags and Titans are both 7-8. So it does not matter what happens. Week 18, because of the tiebreaker, will determine who goes to the playoffs from the AFC South. They could still get a wild card. A lot has to break their way. Really, the Dolphins would have to keep losing.
Without Tua, it's a chance.
And there's a chance. The Patriots and Jets would also still have to keep losing as well. So they can get that wild card spot, but it's highly unlikely. So Week 18, Jags-Titans is probably the most important game. Probably in the country. Going to the NFC, all of the NFC teams are still currently in the wild card, but most of those teams are ailing, for the exception in the NFC East. The Eagles did lose to the Cowboys, but their destiny is kind of set already. Yeah. Cowboys are probably going to be playing a wild card game, unless the Eagles completely collapse at the end of the year. They have to drop their two games, and the Cowboys, I think, have tiebreaker because they've scored more points.
The Cowboys barely beat the Eagles, though.
The Eagles barely beat the Cowboys earlier this year.
That's true.
Vikings, let's sit atop the NFC North. The Green Bay Packers have clawed their way back into the playoff hunt at 7-8. The only help they really need is the Commanders to keep dropping games.
That won't be hard.
And the Seahawks to keep dropping games. And then again, the South, the tank division, the terrible division, the NFC South. Buccaneers are atop at 7-8. The Panthers and Saints are both one game behind at 6-9. The Falcons are not mathematically eliminated yet. They're 5-10, which means they can go.
Oh my god!
That means they can go 7-10 and make the playoffs if everyone else loses in front of them.
What is this division?
Hell.
Calamities.
Actually, I think the Falcons are right because I don't think they have the tiebreakers. So, but still, the hilarity that would ensue. And look at the rest of the division. The teams eliminated from playoff contention are the Broncos, Cardinals, Rams. I think the Falcons are Colts, Texans, Browns. Steelers could still get in a hope and a prayer. And the Bears. How is it all going to shake out? Well, looking at the last two games for important teams, we'll look at Tampa Bay first because they're getting Ryan Jensen back. So hopefully, they play the Panthers and Falcons.
Should be okay.
They lost to the Panthers earlier this year.
By how much?
By 2 scores. They lost 21-3.
You know, Tom Brady was going through some things at the beginning of the season.
They lost to P.J. Walker. Do you even know who P.J. Walker is?
Couldn't tell you.
Exactly. He's an AAF quarterback. He like if Taj Boyd played NFL games. That's the best way to describe him. So not good.
Okay.
The Panthers' defense is actually good, so them holding a team to 3 points isn't outlandish, but them scoring 20 more points is.
On the flip side of it.
But the Buccaneers will be playing the Panthers and the Falcons to end the year. Playing the Falcons in Atlanta, they have the Carolina Panthers at home in Tampa. Very winnable game. Should win both. Will they win both? Probably the fuck not. And if they lose, the Panthers' division's wide open. If they beat the Panthers, then they pretty much wrap up the division because they have the tiebreakers over the Saints. Because they beat the Saints both times. So they effectively wrap up the division then and there. Because the Saints can only equal their record.
So it's just done then.
But now if they lose to the Panthers and the Saints win, the Saints are back in it because the Saints, on the other hand, play the Panthers last week. Which means they can, if they score enough points, because they lost the first matchup, they can win the tiebreaker. And the Buccaneers basically have to drop the game against the Falcons. Because if let's say the Panthers have to win out to win the division. Same with the Saints. But the Panthers can't win out if the Saints split the series, right?
So it's a lot of hope.
The Saints have a lot of hope. If the Saints make the playoffs again, hilarity. Looking at the rest of the NFC, Detroit dropped a game I think they needed to win because the remainder of their schedule isn't. They play the Bears in Chicago. They play the Bears in Detroit, and the Packers in Lambeau. And that game can be a winner go home situation in Green Bay. You're probably gonna beat the Bears. We asked. We don't want to win.
No, we don't want to win.
We want the first overall pick to trade it.
But Justin Fields is trying his damnedest.
Justin Fields will try his damnedest to win that football game. And it might break the wrong way. He might bust out one of them 80-yard runs when you don't need it the most. No more playoffs.
You can take a hit now.
Taking too many hits.
Taking too many hits.
Dying out there. The Packers have a tougher road. They play the Vikings, and they have them at home in Lambeau, but they play the Vikings and Lions. And the Vikings aren't resting guys yet.
And what's the Vikings record?
13-2.
Okay.
Or 12-3. My apologies.
So they have some wiggle room.
Yeah, in the first matchup, they won Week 1, 23-7 against the Packers.
23-7.
So, the Packers also have a tough road into the playoffs.
Really depends what Aaron Rodgers wants to do that day.
The Commanders, I think the Commanders are going to slip up. Heineke wasn't performing. They're starting Carson Wentz again. Starting Carson Wentz is never a place you want to be.
Not this late in the season.
Oh, of course not. They play the Browns, which should be a win.
Hopefully.
At home. But then they play the Cowboys.
The Cowboys are hungry.
Yes. And Jerry Jones don't rest players.
Ever.
They play. And they'll play until Dak Prescott can break both his fucking legs out there when they're up 60 and Jerry Jones will say it was a good move.
Mm-hmm.
And then looking to the AFC, the Jags, again, it doesn't really matter who they play next week because if they play the Texans, they better win. Just because.
Mm-hmm.
But the playoffs are forming up real well. Other news that's happened this week, J.J. Watt's announced he's going to retire at the end of the year. You know, first ballot Hall of Fame talent.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, just 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
He wanted to get shit.
I mean, we're just gonna pull up. I'm just gonna pull up for y'all. We're gonna look at the career stats together as a collective. So the career stats are just insanity. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. His second year in the league, he had 20.5 sacks. He did that twice in his career. 111 sacks combined in his career. And this is an injury-plagued ass career, by the way.
Still put in work.
Again, just an absolute beast of a man, beastly talent.
Phenom.
Wasted in Houston. Just absolutely wasted on the Texans. Texans' best ever players so far in their young franchise.
Can't say he wasn't one of the best on the Cardinals either. Definitely was.
One of them.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones, he was opposite Chandler Jones his first year. He's having a good year this year. 14 games, he has 9.5 sacks and 26 tackles, and his heart stopped this year.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, shit.
That happened earlier this year. That happened that same week, too, of guys' concussions, so niggas didn't, gotta let that slide.
So, concussed, CTE versus cardiac arrest almost.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
shout out to just a Hall of Fame career.
Oh yeah.
Don't come back. Your heart did stop. Like, please retire.
Why are you pulling up that man?
Why
are you pulling up that man?
We must discuss the elephant in the room. Nathaniel Hackett has been fired, as I've been saying since week 2.
Thank God.
Russell Wilson had a rough go of it this year.
It's an off year.
His completion percentage is the lowest of his career.
Okay.
He only put up 3,000 yards. He only threw 12 touchdowns this year, which equals the amount of bathrooms he has in his house, is the fun fact of the day.
Why does he have... Okay.
Don't ask why he has a bathroom with 12. We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
These are almost your career lows in every relevant stat.
Look, I blame Hackett, right? He didn't let Russ. And Russell Wilson was also probably trying too hard to fit into that locker room.
Oh, it was trying to be like the humble leader.
And you can't come into locker room space and think you're going to run stuff.
And then just being corny.
Being corny. He also probably... He was drafted by Seattle, right? So he was with nobody else his entire career. This is new for him, too. He just a little awkward.
But it was a rough go of it. And we must discuss the Tua Tagovailoa situation. Again, we said we'll discuss it later. He had 3 concussions on the year. The Dolphins need him to win, but as a society, we don't want to see Tua go insane and do CTE things.
3 concussions.
So he should probably be shut down for the year. And what that means for the Dolphins is your season's over.
Yep.
That's tough.
Start off great. I mean, Tua not got the concussion. Where do you think they'll be at?
Oh, I think they'd be competing for that 1 seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm. And who's their backup QB?
Skylar Thompson, I think is his name. I think he played with the Kansas State. Now, don't quote me on that.
Let's see.
I think I'm right, though. It's Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
Skylar Thompson's the 3rd string. I remember.
Okay.
Because Teddy Bridgewater also got hurt.
Oh, so it was just...
Yeah, it was a shit show.
Just pain.
Teddy Bridgewater, the backup. Another super concussed man in his career. But back to Tua, he was having a great year.
Fantastic. Probably his best year in the NFL so far.
Yeah, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He was slinging the ball the best he's ever done. He finally got control of that deep ball. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill were running rampant amongst the league.
Jalen Waddle was a standout too.
Jalen Waddle really broke out this year. He's scary. I think it's safe to say he's probably going to go on the Hall of Fame trajectory after this year. He's put up 1,000 yards in his first 2 years. He's averaging 18.8 yards a reception.
That's a crazy number.
And
he can only get better. I don't like Tyreek, but Tyreek can probably teach him some things.
Yeah, and it's crazy that he has Tyreek, who's basically... Jalen Waddle is basically Tyreek Hill, who don't assault people.
Yeah.
Non-criminal Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, none of the negatives so far.
A good person.
Yeah, a good person, as we know, of course. He could be a terrible person.
Yeah,
we know.
It's the NFL.
A lot of them are terrible people, of course. We don't talk about that, though. Looking at the Week 17 matchups, the Titans play the Cowboys. Nice knowing y'all niggas. Cowboys.
Them boys.
Sunday we have a mid-off, the Cardinals and Falcons. Who gives a fuck who wins that? But I'll say Falcons. I just want Desmond Ridder to win a football game.
Just some birds.
Bears, Lions, fuck it. I'll go the Bears. I haven't picked the Bears to win a lot of weeks. Because I've been realistic. But Bears are gonna win. Fuck it.
I feel like Detroit wants it more though.
But Justin Fields wants it more.
That's true. But one man versus who's the coach? Dan Campbell. Great coach.
Jags are going to beat the Texans. Chiefs are going to... Poor Broncos. Patriots are probably going to beat the Dolphins. I think they're going to stop their skid against the Teddy Bridgewater-led Dolphins. Giants should beat the Colts. If you lose to the fucking Colts, as you said, that should not even be counted as a real football team.
Not at this point. Or the Commanders, but
Commanders are actually 7-7-1, so... Yeah. This is why I like narratives.
It's been quiet, man. I feel like, I don't know.
They're not national TV, they're the Commanders. They have the worst owner in the NFL.
Yeah.
Steelers, Ravens. If Lamar isn't back, it's the Steelers. If Lamar is back, it's the Ravens. It all depends on Lamar.
And what's his injury?
What was The summer now's like 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
And it's on week 4. This is week 4 coming up.
At least they played it safe.
Because they're like a lock for the playoffs, so. Panthers Buccaneers in Tampa. I think Tampa will win that game. The Panthers are a bit hotter, but the NFL is gonna rig that shit for Tom Brady. That nigga went through. He did a lot to come back to the league.
Divorce, a wife, no kids.
That man's living a divorced man lifestyle to play football. He loves the game.
In Tampa Bay.
He loves the game.
In Tampa Bay of all places.
He loves the game too much.
He needs to go play golf and, take care of his kids.
The Browns versus Commanders. Commanders should win that game. Niners will beat the Raiders. Seahawks Jets is a very interesting matchup. Mike White will be back. The Seahawks are slumping. It's in Seattle. I think Seattle will right the ship here. I think Mike White's ribs are probably going to be hurting a bit too much. And they're starting, I forgot his name, but he basically looked like Tim Tebow out there. So not good.
Okay.
Vikings Packers. I think the Vikings will win that game. Also because I want to hate watch. Chargers will beat the Rams, and Bengals Bills on Monday night's the most interesting game in terms of like skill set matchup. I think the Bengals will win at home against them. I'm gonna remember that dude on the Jets' name. I'm gonna get it up real quick because he was a backup for the Cardinals for a little bit. Yes, Chris Streveler.
Who?
Exactly. Chris Streveler of South Dakota from Naperville, Illinois.
Wow.
He looks like Tim Tebow out there. He run a lot. His spirals don't look good.
He run a lot. His spirals don't look good.
But really, when you're looking at the NFL next week, you have a lot of games that don't really mean anything for people. I mean, when you're like the Cardinals are starting either Colt McCoy or Trace McSorley because Kyler Murray's out. So who the fuck wants to watch that? If you're a Falcons fan, at least you get to see Desmond Ridder.
They should sit down and be hot too.
At least you get to see Desmond Ridder play, see how he's going to turn out. Desmond Ridder has shown flashes of a starting NFL quarterback. Is he like a playoff-winning quarterback or anything? It's too early to say. He hasn't thrown a touchdown or interception yet.
Oh, really?
He's only played 2 games on the year so far.
What's his completion?
Started 2 games on the year. He's completing at a pretty low rate, 59%. He's a second-round pick quarterback who's being thrust into service after they shut down Mariota. I mean, there's no better time to show up than the Cardinals' kind of ass defense.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does throughout the year. When you're looking at the other games, like for your non-playoff contenders, I mean, what as like a Colts fan are you still watching for? There's no hope.
You have to be only the old Colts.
You're playing
fans.
Nick Foles at quarterback, dog.
Yeah.
You bench Matt Ryan. Your rookie ass, second year Sam Ellinger ass.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you watching as a damn Raiders fan? They just shut down Derek Carr for the year. I don't even know who they backup is. I think it's Mike Lennon. I probably.
Maybe shut down everybody else at that point too. Shut down Devontae too. Don't let him
Oh my
out
God, it's Jarrett Stidham. Oh yeah, Jarrett Stidham. Fucking college. PJ, you know what college he played at? I forgot. On Auburn. That's what it is. Old Auburn quarterback. He was the backup for the Patriots for a little bit. Niggas thought he was going to be good because he was a backup on the Patriots. He was not good. They've been doing that ever since Garoppolo came up. They've been thinking every Patriots backup is the shit. Like that like that guy, behind Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi from Western Kentucky. Bailey Zappi probably will be a career have a 10-year NFL career as a backup because he's actually a pretty solid quarterback. But like they've been doing that ever since Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. Like they think every Patriots backup is like holier than thou.
It's just magic in the locker room.
Like Bill Belichick will just work his magic. No, some of these niggas are just dog shit.
Yep.
And
I mean, Cam Newton could even,
Yeah, well, Cam Newton's shoulder was like Swiss cheese, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
As a Rams fan, I need to know why you're watching football still. And to my Bears fans out there, why are we watching?
Why are we watching?
We should just turn that game. We should just turn it off on defense and turn it back on offense, and only when Justin Fields has the ball in his hand. Once you see the ball get handed off to David Montgomery, just done. Just close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Pray.
But as a Rams fan, is watching Baker Mayfield doing it for you in the LA sports market when you could be doing all manners of degenerate shit in Los Angeles, and you're choosing to spend your Sundays not clubbing, not getting drunk,
but
not watching the Lakers or Clippers,
but glued to the TV and paying.
Glued to the TV. Not again. You have the Clippers and Lakers. I don't know how the Kings are doing this year. Probably not that good.
Nah.
I'm just gonna take a wager. If they're doing really good, hockey fans out there, I'm sorry. I only watch the Blackhawks. Y'all niggas have the Dodgers, so they'll be back, and the Angels. You're gonna choose the Rams overall
to bring you joy.
Same to y'all LA Raiders fans too. Just be 49ers fans, or just don't watch football.
Yeah.
Go watch USC, the real one.
The real one.
Like shit, if you're gonna watch football, go watch your local high school team. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Get them niggas back out on the field.
Yeah.
Well, why are you watching? To really see Baker Mayfield?
It's sad in LA.
I mean, Matthew Stafford hurt. Sean McVay, Aaron Donald probably gonna retire after this year. It's a shit show. We're just gonna go jump. I know I'm gonna do this again next week, but I'm just gonna jump and just look quickly at the Week 18 matchups. Again, the only one I really want to dwell on is that Titans Jaguars matchup. It's probably gonna get flexed to Sunday Night Football because it is the most consequential game of the day. So the Jags will need to stop the run. And the Jags are good against the run. They're average in the league. They're 128 yards a game. That's not bad. That's their defensive rushing. They're 114 yards. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. You're gonna have to stop Derrick Henry. You stop Derrick Henry, you stop the Titans. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
They don't really have a quarterback. Malik Willis isn't ready yet. Because again, it's another rookie quarterback being thrust into, and he was. Everyone knew he was very raw coming out of.
There's been a lot of people thrust into the limelight this year.
Well, just injuries. And I think it's because you've seen the toll of what the cough seasons did. Your lack of access to team facilities when you used to have them, your disruption to your schedules,
right,
and just people getting old.
Yeah,
shit happens.
Those were some of the prime years too.
And Malik Willis is not having a good go of it. He has no passing touchdowns.
No passing?
Zero passing touchdowns. He has one rushing touchdown. Malik Willis is just a very raw. He can't really throw it down the field well.
Is he just nervous?
He's mobile, and he doesn't have those intangibles yet. Those intangibles needed a season or two sitting on the bench.
He sees some instincts.
And the thing is that Ryan Tannehill didn't really want to teach him either.
I remember this. Yeah.
Like that started coming back to the drama of Ryan Tannehill doesn't want you. That's one of your jobs as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
That's just
strange. You don't really want to think about it or say it as a starting quarterback in the NFL, but you're gonna get phased out eventually. Yeah. You're not gonna be Peyton Manning,
especially when you're Ryan Tannehill.
And even if you were Peyton Manning got benched halfway through his last year for Brock fucking Osweiler, and he took it on the chin and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not because he did anything great, but he got that Super Bowl. Not everyone gets to go out like John Elway. On the mountaintop.
No.
Hoisting the Super Bowl trophy on your own terms.
Ryan Tannehill isn't good enough to be acting like a
Ryan Tannehill not even in the Hall of very good. He in the Hall of I think I ate for a little. That nigga's
Yeah, I mean he showed up. He showed up a few times.
Like if you're gonna have an old head conversation when nigga brings up Ryan Tannehill, that's all. That's the only thing that you'll get.
I'm walking away.
Like I was like, oh, he was I guess.
Yeah.
Like if some old head's like, Ryan Tannehill, like I'm gonna be like,
who?
Like we're in our 60s, I'm gonna be like, I'll be you got on the damn. You're gonna get the team wrong.
Yeah.
Like twice.
Yeah.
Oh, the Titans. Yeah, shit.
From he was trash. He was trash.
That's gonna be Ryan Tannehill's legacy at the end of the day. Is it disrespectful? A little bit.
Yeah.
However, he still made more money than me, and he's
still but he's cocky for no reason.
Yeah, like again, part of your job as an NFL quarterback is to really mentor and groom your successor for success, because that's your job, is to help the team win games. And help the team succeed. And your job, and part of that job is realizing that you are going to be not employed there anymore.
Yeah. And any day could not be your day, and now, you're no longer starting.
But it looks really good for your long-term employment if you can be that mentor figure. Because there are a lot of dudes holding clipboards still getting paid 7-figure salaries to. Let's go!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
You need to do this on the sideline with the headset on.
Yeah, and even if you get phased off, you can still be getting a check.
So, and you're not getting hit in the head by 300-pound niggas.
On the weekly.
So at the end of the day, that's what Ryan Tannehill would have to really do. To but he's not going to be a backup quarterback because he thinks he's a starter all the time. You're not going to be soon. You're better than Malik Willis, but the Titans might also be a team that'll be looking at a quarterback this offseason as well. I could see them throw, because they don't need a great quarterback. They have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They just need a decent one.
Someone who could at least get down the field.
Geno Smith, Derek Carr, are going to be free. They're not going to take a Sean Baker. Holy hell.
Baker's a wild card.
Baker crazy. I like Baker Mayfield. That'd be a crazy. Titans fans would cook him, but that'll be for a later episode to discuss where are these free agents going to go. What's going to happen? Is Devontae Adams pissed enough for the Bears to draft the trade for him? I hope the answer is yes. Well, that will be all for the NFL Roundup on the Poverty Franchise podcast. It has been PJ
and Caprice
signing off on our uneducated NFL views.
And remember,
good night.
Remember, pain, poverty, and prayers.
That's how you get through every season. Good night.
Good night.
And Happy New Year.